All right, number 8, site recovery engineering. I know this is a surprise, probably. You don't really see a lot or hear a lot about it, but it's always in a lot of job descriptions in a discrete manner. And that's usually around availability. That's around software integration. That's going to be also focused in DevOps as well. So site recovery engineering is really a unique specialization. So what is it? SRE is going to create a bridge between development and operations. And I'll talk about where DevOps fits in 1 second, because there's always confusion with SRE and DevOps and what is what. But with SRE, it pulls in availability, latency, performance, etc. But most importantly, this is a software engineering specialization. So if you're a software developer and you're good at making sure that applications are available, this could be your dream job. So what is the difference between DevOps and SRE? The main difference is that, again, SRE is more what? Operationally driven from the top down. And it's governed by the development team. Whereas DevOps is more, again, driven by operations with development. And also too, with DevOps, again, it's depends on your organization in a lot of respects. But with that said, it's more about software architecture, whereas DevOps is really more rolling out software that's safe and secure the first time. So that's sort of like the main difference in some respects. So SRE is a buzzword that we see quite a bit more. And the key words that you're going to see is right here. Anything around software architecture, and you see this, they're talking about this. Next up, cloud security. All right, now this was an area that I think still is maturing, and again, is an area that clearly has a lot of demand. It's just that there isn't what I would call a mature sort of like what I would call framework to go by on what a cloud security engineer does, I think, is sort of the way I look at it. But basically, here is the best definition of what a security engineer would do, but you want to just substitute with cloud, basically. And the goal is to manage the cloud platform instead of the internal platform like on-prem. Now, the areas that cloud security really shows the demand is, again, for folks that are able to go in and understand the shared security model and also implement areas from the enterprise perspective that is going to secure the solution. Now, there's a high demand for security forensics experts. So folks that can detect and deter breaches or respond for that matter. Now, common roles. So this is what I was saying as well, where you see a lot of cloud security roles, but it's not like it's like a full-time job or a job that sort of states you're a cloud security expert or anything. It's more like an IT security specialist, for example, a security analyst, security manager, network security engineer, so on and so on. But I am starting to see actually quite a bit of what would be called cloud security managers or cloud security engineer roles. So these roles have high demand. I know because I probably have been paying, not that I'm looking for a job, probably 4 to 6 times in the last 2 months. A lot of these jobs, though, again, they're in the financial sector typically, or another sector that seems to hire a lot of cloud security experts would be more the federal government as well, is sort of the areas that I typically see this. And I don't see like cloud security managers coming up a lot around, other sectors like education, basically manufacturing, logistics, not yet anyways. But I did want to point out too, the average salary was about $140,000, and that's according to RHI, which is Robert Half International. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to speak up, and I'll definitely take a minute after the break, after we're done here. When it comes to also other areas around IT security is DevSecOps. Now, this is another phenomena that I'm starting to see. This was a term that I think has only been around maybe 3 years effectively. And I'm starting to see DevSecOps as part of a lot of job descriptions. So I'm sort of adding that to the cloud security aspect. So this is basically where security is actually incorporated into your testing, into your rollouts, into your pipelines, your automation. And here's an example of a typical DevOps cycle. And then here is the new DevOps cycle, stated as Larry Macaroni. Hopefully that's close to how you say his name. But basically, as you see, you have where after test, validate, predict, analyze, and then again, configure, deploy, monitor, etc. And you see there that there's additional steps in the cycle.